the layout starting to tick off a bit, right? And so, like I said, it's not quite time to panic just yet. Unless, of course, you've gotten that layoff slip, and I've seen many people, they're not panicking. They're just like, what next? Okay, let's go. Let's go. What do I need to do now? What do I need to do next? So, if you are seeing me for the first time tonight, because I will just jump into my topic and start rolling and don't introduce myself. And so, for those of you on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, if you can hear me, also drop a yes in the comments and let me know what city or town or village you're coming from today, where you hopping on at, right? And I do love comments, so drop your comments in there. Drop your questions, right? If you're looking forward to something and I hadn't quite gotten to it yet, do drop those questions and I'll answer those live on air as well. When you catch the replay, always drop your questions because I'll always circle back to see what questions have been left for me. And so again, if you're just meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Twanna, and I am a career transition coach, and I help high achieving professional women overcome that fear and doubt that can sometimes come with transitioning into a new career or looking, towards a layoff, right? And I do that by empowering them to recognize and communicate their unique value. And I also instill a deep sense of belief in their own strengths and abilities so that they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and pursue a path of purpose that is meaningful to them. So I'm going to pop around a bit because I know there's like a 20-second delay sometimes in between um, the comments popping up on the screen. So every blue moon, I will try to, you know, pop on the different sites and see if I have questions or comments. Right. So I am looking here, and let's check YouTube real quick to be sure that that feed is going. And yes, Facebook is going as well. And that's sometimes why my internet has issues because I've only got about 50, 60 tabs open. But shh, don't tell anybody else. I won't tell anybody else either, right? So without further ado, 5 tips to manage stress in a layoff, right? And so I'm taking a different tack with this, and it's all about being proactive. And you hear me talk about it, right? Layoffs are just stressful. They're difficult. Most of us don't go, yay, whoo, layoff coming, yes. For the most part, most of us don't do that, right? But here's the thing, with some planning and preparation, you can make this more manageable, right? I've been through some layoffs myself, and I've seen what works for many people in the situation, and that's what I'll be sharing with you today. Because if you follow these tips, you'll really be able to manage your stress doing the transition from full-time employment to job search and or maybe even landing the job before you're laid off from the other job. That's the optimum of both worlds, right? Okay, so I want to bear with me for eine Momente bitte, just a little bit of German there, for a moment because I can really get going and I want to see my comments over there. So if you have comments, do pop them in. So I got them up on my screens now and I can see. So the first tip is be informed, right? The first step is really about being prepared to stay informed about the status of the company, right? About your industry, period. Because really, you're noticing some layoffs. There are people in certain industries, they're laying off over here and they're hiring like crazy over there. So, really, you got to be, stay informed about what's going on in your industry and also stay informed about what's going on in another industry should you be looking and making plans to jump into that new industry, and really about the whole economy as well. Because yes, some folks are laying off, but people are still hiring crazy in other sectors. Like I said, okay, sometimes layoffs are just unannounced, they just happen, and sometimes they are announced or have very little warning, which means that it's really important for you to stay aware of what's going on around you and research how those changes may affect you at your company, right? I remember being at a particular organization, and about 2.5 years out, I saw the handwriting on the wall. 2.5 years. No one said, "Hey, we're going to be looking at laying off, or downsizing." I was aware of the situation. I saw the handwriting on the wall. I knew it was going to get tough in this organization that I was in. They started by managing people out first. They started with the low hanging fruit, managing people out, poor performers, people who were ill, although we know that's not the right thing to do, but there you have it, right? And if you're wanting to know about more about that, are you being managed out of your job? Because they do sometimes start with that. I'm gonna drop um I'm gonna drop a link here because I've actually done a live on that. And so you can, and I'll pop it up on the screen as well. But if you're, worried about being managed out of your job, because some companies will do that, trying to like not necessarily lay off a lot of people, they go for the low hanging fruit first. So if that's you, or you think it's happening to you, or you wonder if it's happening to you, check out that video. Are you being managed out of your job? It's one of the YouTube videos I've done, right? So my solution after seeing that handwriting on the wall, I opted to get another degree. I did a 180-degree shift. I went from one area completely into a totally different industry, right? That worked out for me. It worked out so well for me. It's been 17 years, and now I actually own a business using those skill sets and that degree. Many of you know I am a licensed therapist in addition to being a certified career coach, right? Certified health coach, rather. Not career coach, I'm a certified health coach because I do anxiety coaching. So don't be afraid to think outside of the box. Yes, you need to be aware, but don't be afraid to think outside of that box and do something totally different. Tip number two, be prepared, right? Do be prepared. No matter how hard you try to avoid it, a layoff is stressful. It can be stressful. But if you're prepared, the best thing to do is just prepare yourself for the worst case scenario, right? Rather than just hoping for the best, prepare for it. And I told you my tips were about being proactive, like doing an action, moving and doing something. Oftentimes when we are stress, that is a thing that really can keep us motivated and going, is doing things, right? So definitely do prepare. Keep a positive attitude. It's very easy to fall into a negative mindset when you're worried about your job, especially if you're sitting in the job and you know they just laid off folks in the marketing department, because now you're wondering, like, are things going to get worse? Are they going to come from my job too? Right? So it's very simple. It's easy. It will be easy to fall into that negative mindset, but do try to stay positive. Remember that, stay tuned in other things in your life. Yes, work is important, but so is everything else. Spending time with your family, eating healthy, continue to exercise regularly, volunteering at an organization near your home, right? And if you're going to volunteer, don't hesitate to get the digits and get those references. They count, right? Volunteer work counts on your resume. Okay? And you could be prepared to just take a pay cut, right? You could do that, right? Or even relocate and take a pay cut. A much better idea in that area is really to hire a career coach. When you are in survival mode, which you can just go into because you're so worried about finances and the mortgage and the car and the college education. If you have parents or in-laws who are in nursing homes and or assisted living facilities, that's a lot of stress, and you will click over into survival mode. The thing is when you're in survival mode, you don't make the best decisions because your brain is all about survival. Hiring a career coach can pull you out of survival mode, right? Hiring a career coach who has the skill to do both anxiety coaching, like I do, and career coaching is a total win win, right? Because you can do both, stay out of survival mode, and then make the best decisions for you. Because again, yes, mortgage got to be paid, all those things have to be paid, but you don't just have to necessarily say, well, here it is. I got to take a pay cut. That's the only thing I can do. It's not the only thing you can do. And that's what career coaches are all about, getting you that next position at the pay rate, salary requirements that you need, and go for it. Now, obviously, sometimes, and I've done it, I've had to take a bridge job. I did not find the job that I needed in time, so I took a bridge job. That happens, right? Sometimes you do have to take a bridge job, but oftentimes, if you get a good career coach, they can help you lock in something, help you coach you to get something that's more palatable. You don't have to take that career cut. You don't have to start over at the bottom. Those things are not always necessary just because you're doing a career transition. Anybody out there has been laid off, drop a one if you've either been laid off, drop a one in the comment box, or if you're in an organization that you've seen some layoffs somewhere else, but your job is good, drop a one in the comments for me. Because there's a lot of that going. This department got some layoffs, but they're still hiring over here. That's why I say it's not quite time to panic yet because the job market is still extremely strong. People are still trying to come from outside the United States to get jobs here in the United States. So our market is still strong. So it's not time to panic yet. And so Habiba says one, and I believe you're in. I think she's in an organization where there have been some layoffs so far. So yeah, there's layoffs over here in this department, but not necessarily other, and it just depends. And so one of the things to do, and I talk about it down here, is really look at your company because sometimes you can get reassigned in your company. Now I had a client that came to me. She was reassigned, right? She got reassigned and they reorg downsized and she got reassigned to a section she really didn't want to. And so I think they were looking to further downsize because when she came to me, she didn't realize she was being managed out of her position, working with her, trying to figure out why so much anxiety and what was going on at the job that was, triggering that anxiety. And I was like, oh, you're being managed out of your job. And then she started to tell me about the bad write-ups and all the sessions she'd had, and they were writing her up. And I was like, holy cow, holy smokes, you're being managed out. And I was able to coach her through the anxiety, first of all, to pull her out of survival zone. And then she was actually able to save her job. And funny story, a year later, she won Employee of the Quarter or Employee of the Month. So yeah, she in survival mode, we don't make the best decisions. That is why it's so important. I'll say it again, to hire a good career coach, whether you hire me or you hire another one that fits you, but do get a career coach, right? Because that's what we do. That's what we're really great at doing. So we are down here at number 3, right? It is be proactive. And I've mentioned some of this before, right? So one of the things that you do need to do is be proactive in developing and increasing your mental fitness, right? So mental fitness is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with positive rather than a negative mindset. And that's per Shirzad Shamin. He has a positive intelligence program. It's a mental fitness program. And I am a PQ coach or positive intelligence mental fitness coach, right? When you develop your mental fitness, stress invariably comes. Everybody's going to get stressed. You stress, distress, or distress, negative stress. But when it comes knocking on your door and you've developed your mental fitness, it won't get inside and wreak havoc on your life. You will still be able to stay out of survival zone. You'll make the right decisions for your life and for your family. That all happens when you work on that mental fitness and you develop your mental fitness, right? You also want to take an active role in your career. You have a better chance of finding a job that's right for you if you're proactive, involved in the process, rather than just sitting back and waiting like, well, and I've seen people do this. They saw people being taken out, managed out, and they sat there until it was literally their turn, years. It was their turn to be laid off, and they got laid off. They never went to look for another job until they got laid off. Survival brain, you will do that. You will sit and let the axe fall, as it were, before you're proactive. So that's why I say my tips are proactive tonight. Be proactive. Do what you need to do to get active and take care of yourself. Because when you're in action, it just feels like you're accomplishing things and you get the feeling that I think I can make it through this, right? And so some of you, if you've been laid off and your company offers a career center or a career counselor or a career coach, take advantage of it, right? Take advantage if it's there because they will help you develop skills, help you figure out what your skill sets are, and network and help you find jobs beyond where you are now, right? And again, I said again, network with the people within your industry. Now, you know, when the pandemic hit, because this was an issue, networking inside the industry, because there were some industries where layoffs were just horrible. They were brutal, right? people still went in the same industry and tried to find a job. Over 58% of the people, because they didn't have the knowledge, they didn't know how to identify their skill sets. So let me plug it again. Hire a great career coach, because that is what we help you do. And so people knew their industry was cut to pieces. It was brutal, but they're like, I don't know what else I can do with my skill sets. So they still went out trying to find a job in that same industry. 58%, 58% of the people didn't know how to. But that's what a career coach does. They help you do that. They can coach you, they can guide you, they help keep you motivated, keep you focused, and keep you pulled out of survival brain, right? And so if your career is just, your industry is only laying off a few people, yes, network with people within your industry. Network, period. Not that you're trying to get a job there, but they may know someone else in the other industry, right? Because sometimes you have those sister industries. If this one is laying off, this one is hiring, and they may be short of people. And so do concentrate on that networking, right? Whether they're inside your industry or outside of your industry. And so that's just really important to be able to do that. Okay. And number four, be realistic, set realistic intentions, right? You know, um, Dr. Richard Nongard really, he has a book about intentions. And I was like, I don't know about this intention stuff. I'm all goal oriented. I have my goals, I have my date, and I have all of that. And so, after reading his book, I have to say that I'm really sliding towards setting realistic intentions, because let's say that your intention is to lose 50 pounds. When you set an intention, it's not about reaching that 50 pounds or whatever date you set out there. The intention is based on what can you do right now in this moment, the next hour, the next day, in the next 24 hours. So set realistic intentions, things that you can do right now, because you can get, again, slide into survival brain. And it's easy to say, I'll do that next week. And then when next week's get here, I'll do that the week after next. And I'll do, and you start to slide because you're in survival brain. But if you set intentions, those are things you can do right now. Yes, I want to lose 50 pounds. What can I do right now? Well, today I can eat 100 less calories. Bam. Today I can take the steps. Bam. Today I can park further away from my office. Bam. Intentions you can do right now. Anybody out there set intentions? Give me a number two if you already set intentions, right? If you've not heard of intentions before, drop the word intentions in the comments. I'd be interested in seeing people who set intentions. It is something that I start doing. It just pulls you into action immediately. It gets you started, right? Your situation isn't going to change overnight. So it's really important to stay realistic about what the future holds. It may be tempting, really tempting to just quit work and only look for a job, but you want to keep everything going. Yes, you want to do the job search, you want to get that career coach, but you'll want to, manage that energy and put it into the task at hand and keeping those intentions, right? You want to stay positive as well. Keep that positive attitude to stay focused on what you can control. We already know that you can't control everything, but you can control each and every last one of your actions and your attitude. And if it's possible, especially if you're already a journal person, keep a journal about your process, right? What are you doing right now? What progress is being made in order to keep yourself motivated? So if you have great days, you have like a not so great day today, you can read back on that journal and say, oh, you know what? This worked for me. Let's try that again, right? And then a journal will also help when things feel like they aren't quite moving fast enough, right? For instance, some people say, well, I sent out 10 resumes this week. Yeah, but were they focused resumes? Right? Or were they the same resumes to anything moving across the job board, right? Because keeping up with those statistics, I'm sending 10 resumes every day, but you're doing the same exact thing. That can help you slide off into feeling, those negative mindsets. This will never work. You want to be sure it's targeted. It's targeted at the particular job. Did you go out and see who you already know from that particular job before you submit the resume so that you can go in as a warm lead? All of those things help. What else helps? Taking a break, right? Yes, you're in job search mode, but take the breaks. Finding another job is a full time job in and of itself, but the breaks will help you maintain your joy through the process and to be a better decision maker, because it keeps you out of survival mode. Okay. Number five is be patient, right? My daughter graduated April 30th, and so in May she was like, "Mom, nobody's calling. I don't have any job leads. I don't have any job offers, and I thought I'd get a job in this time by now." And so I was like, "Be patient." And not, of course, I'm a career coach. I coach her what to do, but like kids, they don't always listen to their parents. And I was like, "Did you do this? Did you do that? It takes time to do this. It takes time to do that." So definitely be patient. I know we want it now. We want that job now because it relieve a lot of stress, but it doesn't always happen like right now, right? It took her March, April, May. It took her like 4 months to find a job. That's a long time for certain people, right? But it is practicing patience. Now, there are two types of patience. There's one type of patience that comes from knowing you can't control everything. You got to be patient. The other type of patience comes from finding joy in the things that are happening at their own pace. So you can still find joy in taking a walk. You can still find joy in spending time with your kids, or spending time with your grandkids or nieces and nephews, or spending time with family and friends, right? Going to the beach. Okay, I'm a beach person. I love the beach. But you can still find joy in those things, right? It's really helpful when you, especially if you've already been laid off, to understand that not everything is in your control. And I know you're struggling with feeling overwhelmed, by uncertainty and responsibility, but it's patience because you can't control that, but you can control how you feel and what you choose to do and what you choose not to do. All right. And then, of course, it's always helpful to, that joy that comes from the patience that comes from the joy of spending, doing things that are joyful, because you do have control over doing things that are joyful. You have control over spending time with family and friends, right? So, and then it also will help you see, and this is what, positive, an increased sense of mental fitness will do for you. It will help you actually see your life as a journey rather than an obstacle course. Because remember, mental fitness is all about the capacity to weather challenges with a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset. And so, the most important thing, it's about being patient during this transition, is to make sure to keep your expectations reasonable. Let's face it, layoffs suck, right? But we don't have to go down in like the drudgery dungeon hole through it. We can build our mental fitness and use it, as a gift. As Shirzad Shamin likes to say, use it as a gift. How can you use this as a gift? You can, if you think on it long enough and hard enough, and you change the way you look at it. You can look at it as a gift, right? Because I saw, like I said, I saw that issue coming with the organization I was with 2.5 years out, and people looked at me like I was crazy when I walked off. But that has helped me 17 years later, because now I get to help people in a whole nother capacity that I wasn't able to before. Right. And so, yes, going through a layoff can be stressful, but with some planning, it doesn't have to knock you off course and be as bad as you think it is. Yes, it is stressful. If you don't take care of yourself and if you don't build that mental fitness, it can cause depression. It can, affect your health. And, especially if you're working in an organization where they're laying off people, it can really affect your performance at work as well. Okay. So it's important that during this time for you to manage your stress, definitely manage that stress, right? Build your mental fitness, stay on schedule, stay on a schedule as much as possible, right? Write everything down that you need to do around the house. Write everything down that you need to do in your job search. Right? Write down your intentions because it helps keep you focused, especially if you don't get hired before you physically laid off. Keep exercise on that list. Keep prayer on that list. Keep attending church, mosque, um, synagogues, whatever you do, keep that on there. Meditation, keep that stuff on there. Eating healthy, spending time with family and friends, doing self care. Keep it on the schedule because, again, when we're building mental health, mental fitness, it helps us to weather the storm with a positive mindset. Okay. So, all in all, going through a layoff is no fun at all. I mean, like I said, most of us don't clap for layoffs, most of us just don't. But if you plan for it, and you keep your head up, you can make it through, right? And so I have a bolo here. Like, be on the lookout. Watch way too much Law and Order SVU, right? That's all right. I have a positive intelligence mental fitness lunch and learn class scheduled for next Thursday, 12 o'clock. It's a lunch and learn hour. So it's 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be taking registrations for that. Look for it, of course, if you're on my email list, look for it on my email list. If you want to be on my email list, drop email in the comments and I'll reach out to you and talk with you, get that email address and put you on my email list. So that's the best place to get, look for registration. I will also put it out on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn page. I will also put it on my Facebook business page, in addition to my Facebook group, which is a free group for professional women, courage to transition your career. I will put it there. It will be a Zoom, so slots will be limited for the class. So you want to be lookout and go ahead and get registered. It won't be something that'll show up on my feeds anywhere. You have to attend the class, register to get the link to the Zoom class. But it is a lunch and learn positive intelligence mental fitness. I'll be going over why mental fitness is important and what you can do, and actually giving you some of the exercises that Shirzad Shameen has us do in positive intelligence mental fitness program that really does work to relieve stress, right? And so it's a bolo, be on the lookout for that. I do appreciate you for joining me tonight. Let me know if this is helpful by writing helpful in the comments. And if you want to see me do something else, write that in the comments too. Take care, everybody, and I will see you back here next Wednesday, same bad time, same bad place. Bye bye.